What does it take to make a home studio feel complete? What should you spend your money on to make working in your home studio more enjoyable? What are the top 9 things every home studio needs? Let's find out.
My name is Chris Cruz. I've spent almost 20 years traveling the country, talking into microphones and mixing on turntables. Now, I do it all from home. Let me show you how. This is Home Studio Catalyst.
Welcome to season 2. We did it. We made it. We are here. I took a couple of weeks off from this show. I had a lot going on. I got married, so that was a big thing. Bling, bling. And my wife and I have been quarantining at home, celebrating Christmas, New Year, just getting through this pandemic. But I'm geared up, I'm back, and I'm ready to give you guys more tips and tricks about how I do all my recording, studio, radio work from home. If it's your first time watching one of my videos, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. All my future episodes are going to be hosted only right here on YouTube. It's the only way to catch my content. So let's jump in. Here's the 9 things every home studio needs, in my opinion. Number 1, studio monitors. We talked about this on an episode last season, but I think it's really important to get some decent speakers if you're doing any kind of home recording, if that's for radio, podcasting, Twitch, music, whatever it might be. And in my previous episode, I mentioned you want to make sure you get studio monitors, not just computer speakers. There is a difference. Even if you're spending, $200 for a pair, I highly recommend getting some kind of studio monitors. It'll really take your recordings and your mixing to the next level. Number 2, also monitors, but this time I'm talking about a computer monitor. For the longest time, I was just recording on my 15-inch laptop, and I was always straining, trying to see everything and read because my vision's terrible. And I spent $100 on Amazon, got a 27-inch monitor, and I highly, highly recommend getting something bigger than just the laptop screen, just to make stuff easier on your eyes and easier to see. And also, it looks way more cool to show off your studio when you have a big, fat monitor as opposed to your little baby laptop screen. Number 3, backup cables of everything. Cables going from your microphone to your mixer, from your mixer to your interface, HDMI cables from your laptop to your monitor, power supplies for everything. Because there's nothing worse if you're in the middle of a session of recording and something stops working and you don't have a backup cable. So you can just go to like Amazon or Guitar Center to get your backup cables. They're usually pretty cheap. If it's an HDMI cable or an XLR or a USB cable, they're always really inexpensive. The only thing that gets kind of pricey is maybe an extra power supply for your computer or laptop, but I highly recommend having one of those because if it goes out, you are screwed. Number 4, add some of your own flair to your home studio. When my wife and I bought this house, I told her I just want one room to do whatever I want, and I made the studio, and to me, it turned out pretty perfect. I've got my guitars on the walls, I got some of my favorite books in here, lighting, blah, blah, blah. But whatever that means to you, make it feel like you. Because you're not going to enjoy being in your home studio if it's just white walls and there's nothing on the walls or there's some ugly wallpaper from the previous homeowner. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. Just get a new coat of paint, a couple of lights, some decorations you like to have out, and just make it feel more like you so you enjoy being in there and working. So in the middle of filming number 5, everything crashed, but number 5 is some kind of acoustic treatment for your studio. I did a video on this topic last season. I built my own acoustic panels for about $400, and you don't need to spend that much, but you want to get something on the walls, even some cheap acoustic foam, just to cut down on some of the echo in the room. It's one little touch that'll really take your recordings to the next level. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check out that video and find out more. Number 6, cable management. I'm absolutely anal when it comes to cables showing anywhere in my house, especially in my home studio. Now, unfortunately, we're not at the point where everything's wireless, so you have to do some cable management and hiding some things. And what I use are called cable raceways. The one I got is from StarTech. There's a bunch of different brands on Amazon, but they're really easy to use. I just drilled them into the bottom of my desk with 2 screws. They're plastic. You can cut them to length if they're too long, and you can weave cables in and out anytime, and you can just take the top off and rearrange the cables to your liking. It's really nice because if you get one new piece of equipment or if you swap something out, you don't want to spend hours rearranging every single cable. With the Raceway, you can just do one at a time. And they're really cheap and you can move them around, so I really recommend looking into those. Real quick, wanted to let you know this episode of Home Studio Catalyst is sponsored by The Kyle King Show on Twitch. Join Kyle King on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time for music from unsigned artists, Bean Boozled, and tons of jokes while gaming. You can follow him today at twitch.tv/The Kyle King Show. And occasionally I'll actually jump on the stream as well and get absolutely murked by Kyle in Call of Duty. Thank you, Kyle, for sponsoring this video. I appreciate you. And if you want to sponsor a future episode, hit me up. We'll talk. Let's get back to the list. Number 7 is a comfy chair. Now, I went absolutely crazy with my chair. I spent over $400 on my Secret Labs chair, and I love it. It's amazing. And you certainly don't need to spend $400 on a comfy chair. I just budgeted that out to make sure that I could do it because it was important to me because my back sucks. But I would suggest getting something more than just like a simple $50 office chair. You're going to spend a lot of time sitting here in front of the computer, playing your instrument, mixing, whatever you're doing. And if you're not comfy, you're not going to be happy and your work is going to suffer. So I really think it's something you should invest a little bit more time into researching and money as well. Number 8's a pretty simple one, a wireless keyboard and mouse. Unless you're doing some serious gaming, you really don't need a wired keyboard or mouse. They just kind of clutter up the desk. They look ugly. Again, the cables are everywhere, and we already talked about how I feel about that. And if you look around, you can get a good wireless keyboard and mouse set for like $50. They're not super expensive, and I really think it's worth it. And number 9, which might seem a little bizarre, but it's an air purifier. Dust is the bane of my existence. It's really bad for your equipment. It looks disgusting. It's bad for your health. And I just try to do anything I can to get this room as dust-free as possible. I vacuum like a madman. I'm always Swiffering, but it's never enough. So it might be worth looking into for you to get an air purifier for your home studio. I'm still doing research on the one that I want to purchase, but from everything I've read and all the people I've talked to, all the YouTube videos I've watched, Honeywell and Coway are the 2 brands that keep popping up that people recommend for smaller rooms like this. To get a decent air purifier, you're looking at about $225 to start, which I know is expensive, but they last a long time. And even just for your health alone, I really do think it's worth it. And there are my recommendations for the 9 things every home studio needs. If you've got thoughts or suggestions, or if you think I missed something that my home studio needs or that you have in your home studio, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. So drop me a comment, let me know. And if you learned something from this video and want to see more of my content in the future, subscribe to my channel because I'm posting new videos every single Sunday with more content just like this. And every subscriber helps me put out more content. On next week's episode, I'm going to show you how to use Spotify to make your very own hybrid radio show and podcast for absolutely free. It's really easy to do, and a lot of people aren't doing it yet, so you should jump on it. I'll walk you through the entire process in the next episode. I'm Chris Cruz. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.